Hi, I'm Rob and this is Gems of War. I've been asked a few times now in various comments in different videos if I'll do a beginner series for newer players to the game. So this is what I'm going to do. This is effectively the first one, and this is my top 10 tips for newer players to the game. 10 things I wish I'd known when I was new to the game, because I'll tell you, I could be hundreds of levels higher if I knew the things I'm about to tell you in this video. Some are really obvious, some may not be so obvious. So let's run through them all. The first one is the most important one. These are in vague order of importance. Number one, absolutely the most important, join a guild. Cannot stress it enough. I don't mean a guild with one or two pals. That doesn't count. That's not going to gain you much. That's effectively what I did, and I wasted 4.5 years like that. What basically happened was a friend of mine who was playing a game already introduced me to it, invited me to his guild. It was just me and him in this guild. I didn't know any better. We just sat there in a guild for 4.5 years. I was just doing the weekly events as best we could. Didn't realise there was this whole new world out there with hundreds of different guilds and things like that, with all different players and guild wars and the like. It completely bypassed me. I was just doing the PvPs, the weekly events as best I could, a few other bits besides, and that was it. It was only when he stopped playing the game and I realised, okay, there was no point me being here in the end, so I saw the leave guild thing, left the guild, and realised there was hundreds more out there, and it was like, oh my god, it was an absolute game changer. When you go to a guild with 29 more people in it, you're going to be getting 28 or 29 times the rewards you're used to, and better rewards as well, because you're going to be able to go further into tasks and things like that where you couldn't have dreamt of getting that far before. So really important to get into a guild, but equally important is go to a guild that is a comfortable level for how much you play. Don't go to a guild where the weekly requirements require you to play more than what you're used to. If you do that, it's going to feel like a job, it's going to feel like a chore, and it's going to feel like work. And you don't want it to feel like that. It's still a game. You still want to just go to play the normal amount that you do and meet those weekly requirements without any extra effort required. That's really important. You do not want to make it feel like a chore. So when you do that and you're comfortable with that and you're meeting those weekly requirements easily without putting in any more effort than what you play normally, then maybe thinking about going to a different guild, because the higher guild you go, typically the better the rewards. So number one, get into a guild. Right, number two, when you're in that guild, absolutely make sure every week you meet those weekly requirements. This is a really, really important thing. Because if you don't meet those weekly requirements, you could be kicked out of that guild, and then you'll be upset because you may have been in a good guild and you've been thrown out just for not meeting those basic weekly requirements. Because you do have to actually do things. Just because you've earned a certain amount of gold, you have to actually give it to the guild effectively, and you do that in tasks. Like here, like if you have to contribute, say, 50,000 gold every week, you'll just go and say something like that and give 50,000 gold to a task. It's as simple as that. And you'll know when you've meet the weekly requirements because all the numbers on there under gold, guild seals and trophies will turn white like they have now. If they're red, like that on Zari, it's red on his gold requirement. That means you haven't actually met that minimum requirement yet and you need to do a little bit more. So no doubt he'll do that later on anyway. But you normally have to do this by the end of Sunday before the game resets for the following weeks. Some guilds actually require you to do these sort of tasks earlier than normal by a certain day, but that is normally on higher level guilds, so I'd be surprised if lower level guilds were requiring that. So tip number two, just make sure you do your weekly requirements to avoid getting thrown out of any guild. Number three, don't spend gems on anything. I mean, on anything at the start of the game. When you're a new player, do not spend gems on a single thing. No extra weapons you think are fancy or anything like that. The first thing you want to do is save up your gems and get dragon armor. Dragon armor, once you get that and you apply it in this section here, it's going to give you plus 100% gold forever, plus 50% souls forever, plus 50% extra experience forever in every single battle you play in. It's going to just increase all them things massively on a grand scale. So the sooner you get this, the sooner you start getting much better rewards. If you go free to play, you know, if you don't want to spend any money on a game, it's completely fine. Get dragon armor first, and then save up and probably get the, I would say, Celestial Armor as well. That's very similar to the Dragon Armor, but that gives 100% extra bonus to souls and only 50% to gold. So you can switch between them two if you need extra gold or extra souls for certain things. If you are going to go down the pay route, like you're going to throw some money into the game, because you're like me, I enjoy it enough, I threw some money into it. I wouldn't bother with stuff like this, stuff like Shadow Armor, $36.99. If you're going to go like that sort of thing, you may as well go the whole hog and just jump in straight away and just get the Death Knight armor. It's one of the only things in the game genuinely worth paying for, and the sooner you get this, the sooner you're going to benefit from it. Again, I missed out on this for a hell of a long time. A, because I was free to play for a long time. I spent, I think, 5 years free to play. It's only the last year and a half maybe that I've been paying for stuff, and that's because I realised I enjoyed the game. I've been playing it for thousands of hours, so I don't mind contributing to the development of a game that I enjoy and have played that much. But Death Knight armor, if you're thinking about getting it and you've been sitting on the fence for a few months, shall I, shan't I, shan't, you know, that sort of thing, and if you know yourself you're going to probably cave in eventually and get it anyway, just get it sooner rather than later, because if I'd have got this from day one, I would probably be like 400 levels higher than what I am now, or if not more, and I'd probably have every single troop in the game by now as well. But I'm not. I've still got quite a few to collect because I just spent so long out of a guild and without this armor, so I've missed out on an absurd amount of extra rewards. So if you're thinking about getting Death Knight armor, and you sort of know in your heart of hearts you're going to cave in eventually, just get it sooner rather than later, because you benefit from plus 100% gold, plus 100% souls, and plus 100% experience. So you're going to gain levels, gain everything just so much quicker. So that is that one there. Number 4 is a fairly straightforward one, but really good for new players, and that is try to get to tier 1 in PvP every single week. Not on these harder levels. These are going to be out of your reach. They're going to be frustrating and you're going to lose most of them. So stick on the left hand side at first. Just play those battles. Get used to how the game works, the mechanics work. When's best to cast a weapon, when's best to use a skull hit, when's best to avoid one. But also the best thing about it is you get glory keys and extra gold and stuff from doing PvP battles. Every tier you go up, you get a small amount of rewards, and those rewards, like glory keys, can unlock a really, really cool troop, which will come in handy later on in the game. And the more different troops you unlock, the easier and better you will find the game. Right, tip number 5 is generally always have your hero in the team. The hero is the team that uses, the hero is the person that uses the weapon. And one of the first things you want to do as well is get Mountain Crusher weapon. It's really easy to get. All you got to get it, all you got to do is choose Brown Mastery every single time you level up, and you'll get it really, really quickly. And it is just one of the best weapons for lower level players. After you've got that, then once Plague Lord unlocks as a class, then get 250 class wins in that, and you get Essence of Evil weapon as well, which is another absolutely superb weapon. But Mountain Crusher is the easiest one to get first of all. Just keep selecting Brown Mastery every time you level up and you'll get it in no time. Tip number 6, get into the habit of doing the adventure board and dungeons every single day. These resources become insignificant for higher level players to a degree, but for lower level players they're invaluable still. Really, really good to get, and do the adventure board there, go into the games and do the dungeon. All 3 of them if you can. The third one can be tricky sometimes. I remember as an early player, the third fight was sometimes quite tricky, but do the best you can in those ones. And I can't remember if, because when I came along and I was playing this game, the Underworld came out during that, so I have no idea if Underworld is available for newer players. But if it is, pop into there and do 3 delves as well. You get 3 delves you can do daily. Go in there and do 3 delves. It's another thing, when this first appeared, I largely ignored it. Shouldn't have done. I would just 3 delves a day, doesn't take long, and I could have been again far, far higher in all of these if I just put that little bit of effort in and done them every single day rather than literally ignoring them for a couple of years. So do the dungeons, do the adventure board, and do the delves if it is open to you. Next one, collect your tribute. When you first turn on a game, unless you've played it very recently, you'll have some coins here where it says Crystara. Grab that straight away. I've seen some people when they're playing the game, over at a friend's house for example, they don't highlight that, they just go straight to a quest or whatever, start doing stuff, and they haven't clicked it. And it's like, and they play the game for 1 or 2 hours, and then when you collect, if you don't collect that, you're missing out. So collect the tribute straight away, and then you'll get another one every hour. So when that comes back again in an hour, you'll see it light up again because it'll be glowing and there'll be coins on there, and it's ready to collect again. If you start the game up and just start doing other stuff before collecting that, you're going to miss out. And I know as a lower level player, I remember it, every little bit of extra coins, keys is absolutely invaluable. So make sure you grab the tribute every single time you can. Number 8 is do your kingdom's quest lines as they unlock. What I mean by that is, I remember the game starting, and I forget which one it started from. I think it was Broken Spire, and then certain other ones locked in, I think, a certain order. Make sure you go into them and you do that funny little story thing to unlock the other parts of the game, and you'll gain extra stuff as you go along and progress in the game automatically as you do that. Tip number 9 is get into the habit of going into the shop every Monday when the game refreshes. You go to a weekly event and there's a new troop in here every single Monday, and it's usually really good now. Like lately we've had Draxius, Centurion, Balder. These weekly troops have been getting just better and better and better. Now I've got to be honest, I can't remember if 400 glory is a lot when you're a new player or not, but if you've got it, then it's definitely worth grabbing one of these new troops because they're really good and they're just getting better and better and better. So definitely grab one of those. The other benefit to getting one of those is you get extra glory keys, extra gold keys, extra gold, and arcane trait stones at the same time. All really good resources when you're a new player. Now lastly is like these settings here. Like I can't remember, but I vaguely remember that show spell mana details was actually checked off on default when you first start the game. I don't know if that's changed, but I still have that turned on now. I still have puddle hints turned on now. It's like if there's a 4 match of any colour, of any skulls, the game shows it automatically. And it also shows if there's a 3 match anywhere of any of your team's mana colours, which is really handy. And the animation speed. At first, I think it probably starts on ×1, which is probably how you want it at first when you're learning the game and the mechanics. But as the game progresses, you probably want to speed this up because this means you can do more battles quicker. And eventually you'll have it probably on ×4, and you find you can do actually loads more battles much quicker. The other thing you may want to change as well as a newer player is the festive themes. This can be rather off-putting sometimes. As a new player, when you're still learning the game and you're still looking for those skulls and things like that, having this turned on can actually be a bit off-putting. You can actually miss some skull matches, or you know, in your favour, or for the AI. You may miss that the AI had a skull match because it was different, like a Christmas one might be a red hat Santa with a beard sort of thing, and it's unrecognisable from a normal skull, so you may miss that. So you can press that button there and turn that off, and you'll just get regular skulls if you want to keep that completely normal. Right, so there's my top 10 tips for for basically newer players, or if you're pretty new to the game. In vague order, but like I say, the most important one is join a guild. Absolutely, utterly essential. There are more important things besides, but to me, that was the first 10 that I thought of that were the most relevant to new players. So there's a video. If you found it useful or helpful, be cool if you considered liking and subscribing if you've not done so already. But most of all, thanks for watching, and I really hope the video helps you out. Catch you next time. Bye for now.